Welcome to your Crash-Proof Retirement educational event with the founder of the exclusive Crash-Proof Retirement System, Phil Cannella, and the CEO of Crash-Proof Retirement, Joann Small.
What I'm taking away from today's program is that there is an availability of an investment vehicle that will give me a return on my money.
I got a good gut feeling from Phil that he's honest, and I haven't gotten that from any financial advisor in the past.
This is the safe way to go to plan for your retirement.
Welcome to the Crash-Proof Retirement Show. Today's show, Is There a Crisis in America Today? I'm here with my courageous co-host, Joann Small, and I have two very special guests, Mr. Dick Morris and Professor Huszar.
I would say, as we've seen, the stock market is up, let's say in the last 5 years, 175%. So we are going to have this volatility. We're going to have bigger ups and bigger downs. And I think it's very tempting to get in there and try to jump on the carousel at the right time. And you know, people may even want to do that partially, but they have to be very careful about the risk, because the risk is huge. And the reality is it's a gamble. And they should only be gambling with the kind of money that they're willing to lose, because there's no guarantees out there.
What is your gut feeling as a political insider?
We're about to enter a horrible period. Crash, followed by recovery, followed by inflation. So get through it, and therefore your strategy should be take the money and protect it. You're headed toward a tough period, 4, 5, 6 years of tough period. Don't try to sail against the wind. Don't believe that you have the one thing that's going to make you a little extra money. If you have $125,000 now, settle for having $125,000 after inflation for 7 years from now. And if you get an opportunity to do that, great. Because then there will be interest rates, there'll be returns on investment, the sun will be shining again. But make it through. That's my advice.
How many people in the room think there's going to be another financial crisis? Can I see a show of hands, please? Put them up high. Everyone's hands up. How many people in the room feel that they're prepared for the next market crash? A couple clients in the room, I see. Here's Lou Harvey, and here's what he has to say about fiduciary responsibility and Wall Street.
Wall Street is not operationally set up to handle a fiduciary relationship. Too expensive to replace all of my compensation systems, retrain all of my people, reinvent procedures and practices, invent new selling mechanisms. The whole structure that's been built over the last 100 years would have to be turned on end. And that's the thing they fear the most. If I have to replace my entire factory, the business is not worth it to me.
Let's give you the advisor test right now. How many people in the room don't know what 12B1 fees are? Put your hands up very high, please. Look around, look at all your neighbors. If you put your hand up, your advisor just flunked the trust test. We give you what I would call the organic truth, because what we're going to show you today is the truth through insiders who are involved in what's going on in this country. Here's H. David Kotz, who was the Inspector General of the Peace Corps first, then the Security Exchange Commission, and I asked him what his biggest challenge is.
Walk me through your thoughts in your mind and tell us what you think is your biggest block in trying to accomplish what you're trying to do here at the SEC. What's your biggest challenge?
I think just generally, in the federal government, management is often a big challenge.
When Mr. Cannella interviewed Mr. Kotz and they showed us the video, it was incredible to find out that the SEC feels like it can't police the securities industry because it doesn't have the funding or the manpower, and these people are kind of run amok, and the inmates are running the prison.
Alicia Manel, you became Senior Vice President and Director of Research for Retirement Issues at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston for 20 years. Since 1997, you've been the director for the Center of Retirement Research at Boston College. What has all this research over the last 37 years shown you, and what are your concerns today?
I am terrified that we are going to have a financial crisis. I think we're heading for one.
When I heard the interviews, it blew my mind. That interview really should have been handled by Lou Dobbs. Who are the advocates left in the industry that are advocating for the consumer, advocating for the retirement? People, facing retirement. Who are the advocates? And many in our industry are not advocating anything. They're just ostriches with their heads in the sand.
Do you think it's prudent for people to have their nest egg in financial instruments that are risky, that can no longer go back out and reaccumulate a nest egg?
Well, I wouldn't presume to tell anyone sort of how to invest their money, and I'm not an investment advisor. I think we do have a situation today where so much money is in the stock market, where people's lives are so affected by it that sometimes it may make sense to take things out in turbulent times to ensure that you're not living and dying, so to speak, by the Dow Jones going up and down, particularly with what's occurred over the last several years.
I thought Mr. Cannella going down to D.C. to interview Mr. Kotz, the Inspector General of the SEC, was very impressive. He asked some very pertinent questions, and to be honest with you, some of the answers were a bit disturbing. I don't think the SEC have retirees and seniors' interests at best heart, and they have no ability to enforce anything.
As your advocate, I am a master IRA advisor. I keep up with the law each and every year. I have certifications in it, and this is my Bible. These are the law changes that have taken place last year for this year. Who's keeping up with all these law changes? Our company has to be trained every single year and get certified in IRA technicalities, right down to the receptionist. We know the laws, and if you don't know about IRA laws, you have very little chance of keeping your balances in the future. I want you to think of a 65-piece orchestra. There's 65 instruments there. They're musical instruments, but they're tuning up. The musical instruments have a music sheet. And on that music sheet, each one of those 65 instruments has a tune. It will tell the play. That's called the goal to that instrument. And then there's also something called tempo. Each instrument will follow the same tempo. They'll be orchestrated in between the tune and the tempo. It's called music, and doesn't it sound tremendously different from the chaotic sounds of tuning up? I took that philosophy, that principle, and I applied it to these vehicles. Our crash-proof system assigns a goal and a time frame, a tune and a tempo. And it's customized because the goal is the consumer's goal, and the time frame is the life expectancy of the couple or the consumer. By the time we get down orchestrating 4 to 8 instruments in a finely tuned arrangement, the melody it plays is a crash-proof retirement that's customized for that individual or that couple. We're out to show people who come through our process. We're not here to sell you. We're here to educate you, and that's why we invite you to bring your licensed professionals or whoever. We educate you with documentation of what you've seen here today so that you can make the decision. We are your guardrails, Joann and I. We're your advocates, your counselor. You ask the questions, we give you the facts. You make the decision. And I think the best way to explain our process and how it's worked for people just like you is hearing it from our crash-proof consumers.
It's not as if you're sold anything. You're explained, you're taught. It's an education.
When 2008 came along and the market took such a dip, we were very happy that we had gotten into this well before that. So the crash in the market did not affect us.
Not only is your retirement is crash-proof, but so is your everyday expense for being part of this program. There is no expense. You simply sit back and watch your money. And for us, it's been watch your money grow. There's no fees. There's nothing but great people to work with. It's just been wonderful. It's far exceeded my expectations. I just wanted to hold on to what we had, and it's gotten better. You've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose. If you could bet on a horse and know for sure that it was going to win, you would do it. Why not do this? If you'd spend money to go to the casino and gamble away your money, why wouldn't you spend this time going to one of these seminars, hearing Phil? There's simply nothing to lose.
You need something that you can trust, and this is the best thing I've ever found, so other than God.
So it doesn't matter who you are, it's what you do in life, and it's not where you're from, it's where you're going to go. I want to thank each and every one that came out tonight. Thank you so very much. And remember, it's never too late to crash-proof your retirement. Thank you.